Hi, good morning, everyone. Can I request
Good
all of you
morning.
to be on mute, please? We will be starting shortly. We are still a lot of have a lot of members joining us.
So great.
Rohit, if you got any option to unmute them, you can just proceed with it because we see a lot of disturbance.
Sandeep is doing at the back end.
I'll just do that. Yeah. Yes. No, we have already. No, I have already enabled that. Yes. I'll just do that. Yeah. I have enabled the option so they cannot unmute themselves once I mute.
I think more people are joining in. By the time we finish with the opening remarks, we'll have a lot more people. So let's start. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Mental health and drug abuse prevention are critical issues that affect us all. Good mental health helps us stay strong, focused, and happy, while drug abuse can harm individuals, families, and entire communities. Raising awareness about these issues is essential in creating a healthier and more supportive society. In today's fast-moving world, stress, anxiety, and depression are becoming more common. Many people hesitate to talk about mental health or seek help due to stigma. At the same time, drug abuse continues to be a growing concern. Educating ourselves and others on these topics is the first step towards positive change. By having open conversations and taking proactive steps, we can break the stigma around mental health and prevention and prevent substance abuse. As a community, we must work together to ensure that everyone has the right support and resources for their well-being. Let's take this opportunity to learn, support each other, and build a healthier future. I would like to thank my team members, my co-chair Sharmila, our regional mentors Karthikeyan, Dr. Sumesh, Arpit, Pratiksha, Rohit, Maggie, and Sandeep, our national EM for health, for giving all the support in this train the trainer session. Now I would like to invite Mr. Arun Rathore, National Vice Chairman, Young Indians, to say a few words.
Thank you, Rohit. Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of Tarang and me, I would like to congratulate all of you for coming forward and being part of this session. And we all know how important mental health and drug abuse prevention is important for us, for our family, and for the country. Saying that, I would like to congratulate again all the NMT present here today. Thank you, Omkar. I could see you, Nitin. Uh, I have Pavitra here, Sharmila, and all the RMs for coming forward and taking this session out today. And as we all know, uh, it is very, very important for us, for the family, and for the country. And the statistics, the data, what we have today is that 1 in 7 people globally suffer from mental health disorders. And that's an alarming number. We have 75% of mental health issues developed before the age of 24. That's why working with the Yuvas, working with the college students is very, very important. And 14.6 million people in India suffer from drug addiction, with many cases going unreported. That's again a very alarming number. And suicide is the leading cause of death among Indians aged between 15 to 29, which is with the drug abuse and mental health disorders being major contributors. And saying that out of this suicide, that's only 10 to 12% of people with mental health challenges go for a professional help, which Rohit was talking about. They have stigma, they have a lack of awareness. And this kind of sessions, are very, very important to bring that awareness. Saying that, I would like to share two stories today. Uh, One is about the story of a man who was once dismissed as a failure, someone who battled a severe mental health struggles, but emerged as an icon of resilience and success. And I'm talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And we know The Rock, right? The Rock uh, is everybody's favorite. Whether we talk about yesteryears or today's years, The Rock is a very popular actor and a wrestler. So right from his childhood, Rock wanted to be a footballer, and he wanted to represent his country. And for that, he did everything, everything. His day, his mornings, his evenings, his nights, his family time. He sacrificed everything for football. And his love for the football was extreme. And as he grew, he became much better, much powerful in playing football. And he was the best among all the, uh, team players. But one fine day, as he was, playing for his team, he was dropped out, and he was dropped for no reason. And that really brought a deep impact in him, and he went into a deep depression. And that depression was so painful for him that he literally went off his friends, off his family, and he struggled a lot. But then he fought back. He fought back with lot of grit and resilience, and he started working towards getting a professional wrestler. And once he became a wrestler, he again gained that fame and love from the world, around the world. And after that, again, he moved. He wanted to become an actor, but the Hollywood industry could not accept him because of his body and his physique, and the kind of size he had, his physique, and his acting was not up to the mark. So again, he really worked very hard, and today he is one of the highest paid actor in the Bollywood industry, in the Hollywood industry. This is a great story of how a simple man became one of the most popular celebrity of the world. And even that person went through a mental stigma, and he had a stress and strain which he could overlook and work on. And if he can do, why can't we do it? And the second story I would share, which some of us know here, is that 2 years back I went to a government school in Chennai. I and when I met the principal there and the teachers there, they had a very deep concern about the school children of that school consuming drugs. And the drugs were consumed in the form of candies, which were available at an affordable price of about 5 rupees, which were coated by drugs. And this is very, very alarming. So today, drugs is not, a very rich man's affair. It is even a common person who cannot afford a one meal can get a drug and can get addicted. And the behavior of these people, the school students, was so bad. They used to hit the class teachers, and they went up to threatening and giving a death threat to the principal of the school. And these are not, concerns for that school, but this is a concern for all of us sitting here today, because our kids are going to get, our future generation is going to get affected if we are not going to act on it today. And this is just a urge from all of us, from the young Indians. We are working on this grassroots level to prevent people from taking drugs, and we're also working on creating awareness on mental health, and saying that, as we live today, let's not just absorb knowledge, let's commit to action. Let's start with one conversation on mental wellness or drug awareness. Share one resource that you could help someone struggling, and support one person who may need guidance. And together we can turn awareness into impact and make mental wellness a movement and not just a discussion. Thank you. And let's build a healthier future together. Thank you, Rohit. Over to you.
Thank you, Arun, for the stories were really interesting to know. And now I would request Sharmila to take over, please.
Thank you so much, Arun, for the fantastic introduction. And now it's a time for time to start the train the trainer. So I would like to invite the trainers here. And before that, these are all the people who really made these modules last year from the Hubli chapter. And I would like to introduce all the trainers. Dr. Samir Belvi from YA Hubli chapter. He's the co-chair and associate professor of psychiatry at KMCRI Hubli. And Dr. Shivanand B. Hiremath, YA Hubli Health Chair. And he's also the assistant professor of psychiatry at KMCRI Hubli. And Dr. Sachin from YA Hubli Health Chair, and he is also the professor of psychiatry at SDM Medical College, Dharwad. Dr. Chaitra is Hiremath, a Hubli member, and he is also a consultant and psychiatrist and at Antarya Neuropsychiatric Center, Hubli. So now it is over. I would like to invite Dr. Samir Belvi to take over the session, the first session on mental health, break the stage. Over to you, Samir.
Sharmila, can we have the other stakeholder national chairs tell why it is important or relevant for their for their stakeholders?
Yes.
Can we have Omkar, national chair for membership, please?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Rohit. Thanks, Arun, for the wonderful context setting. And I think this initiative by the health vertical is wonderful. From a membership perspective, it's our endeavor to ensure that the environment around us is conducive for growth. We talk of nation building, but we can really build a nation only if the happiness index of the society is high. And if to achieve that, what we need is we have to tackle certain negative things in the society, and mental health and drug abuse is one or two of those. So mental health, as we all know, it has got no age group. It affects everyone. It's because of our lifestyle. It's because of the wrong choices or the ill-informed choices people do. But we need to start conversations on that. And as Arun said, let this not just be a conversation. Let us put it into action. Let us make that impact. Drug abuse is something which is affecting the young population of our country, and who are in fact the future of our country. So if we try and tackle this at this stage itself, I think we will be able to achieve our dream of a developed nation or a successful nation only if we can tackle such things in the society. I think thanks to all the trainers. I was fortunate enough to be for the Hubli Pathfinder, and I've interacted with all these doctors there. They are wonderful trainers, and congratulations to all those who have volunteered to be part of these sessions. I'm 100% sure that once you go out and once you spread awareness on mental health and drug abuse, we are going to make a big impact. Once again, congratulations, guys, and thank you, Rohit and Sharmila, for having me here.
Thank you, Omkar. Pavitra got busy with some urgent work. He is the national chair for Yuva. So instead, now, otherwise, can I have Sangeeta, the national chair for the Thaler, to say a few words, please?
Hi, Rohit and Shamla. Good morning. Hi, Arun. Good to see a lot of school children here. It's really nice, and I think that's the stakeholder we are targeting today. And Rohit, thank you for inviting me being here. Educating children about mental health and substance abuse at an early age is such a crucial thing for their future well-being. And I see that students have joined from classroom as well. So it's not just the students at the very young age is responsible for it. All the communities, including the schools, which play a crucial role in shaping our young minds and bring them awareness about this very critical issue, which is happening in every city in India. So when the children learn to express, along with it, when they're going through a tough phase, we should give them, educate them, make them aware of how to express themselves, and also where are all the help that is available. And I'm really looking forward to this training module where the teachers and the students are involved here, who will be learning how to create that communication channel, whom they can reach out to, what are all the ways that they can express their feelings at home or at school with teachers or among friends. So congratulations on bringing this idea together and involving school children in this. Really looking forward to learning as well through this session. And thank you so much for inviting me here. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Can we have Nitin from National Chair of Rural Initiative?
Good morning, Rohit bhai and Sharmila and Arun bhai. Thank you very much for this. Much needed. Trust me, it's much needed session. I'm very happy. I didn't knew that school kids are out here. As Geeta mentioned, I was scrolling down the photos. I'm very happy to see, it's the right place where we're starting to impact. And also the trainer session, I think it's going to be a unique start for us. At the rural aspect, right? Most of things happens at the places which are neglected, and rural is one such place. So that's why this year particularly we're looking, to even touch the urban slums, the tribal, the slums, and self-help groups. So the way what we're going to put it forward, I'm pretty sure that we're going to bridge the gap in regard to the mental health and the substance abuse. It's always, when we've been working for last couple of months, understanding what is rural, how it's going through. This is something which is very big in menace in regard to how do we look at it is something very, very challenging. But I'm pretty sure that some kind of a tangible solution are there available. Congratulations to Hubli chapter, especially to coming up with this kind of idea and ideation with the national health team. What I would request is, I'm pretty sure that we have good communications happening at the school level, both at the rural and the urban. Can we also look, because since I see most of the chapters members also here, can we also start working with these self-help groups, because these are the people who have gone through a lot of things, and probably adding the mental health to their understanding, it might add a lot of value to them. And also they've been going through a lot of stigmas. They've been going through a lot of challenges on their personal front. This is where they are needing to get through. So probably this should be the start. And I request all the champions out here who are going to, after getting trained, probably please reach out to the slums, the self-help groups, and many other areas where we feel that we can make an impact. Then let's impact. Thank you again. Congratulations, the entire national team. for the road, for the health safety, sorry, and the entire RMs. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitin bhai. Dr. Samir, can we have you, please?
Yeah, good good morning. Good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yes, Doctor. Good
Yeah,
morning.
good morning. Good morning, Rohit. Good morning, Arun, Sharmila, Nitin, and all the other NMT members. It's really nice to be here today on this platform, and I can see its house is full. Uh, a very important context has been set up by all the NMT leaders, and yeah, uh, from YI Hubli, and it gives me an immense pleasure to be a part of YI in general, and also I'll be associated with the health vertical and health modules. Just before I begin with the modules and how to use those modules for the stakeholders, uh, I just like to brief up about the idea behind these modules. So when the National Chair for Health last year, Piyush came up with this idea that let us have a common platform and a common module where we can use that module and help the stakeholders to achieve our goals. So we thought of health being a medical science, a very specialized science, and more so with mental health. We thought like let us have something which is very simple to understand, and in I think there is a problem with the controlling the audio of the audiences.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, okay. So the modules have been prepared with the idea that these can be taken up by any member, any YI member in general, and even for the general public. So most of the matter or the content on those modules are self-explanatory. And we did have a small pilot run at our chapter level last year to test the feasibility and the ease of delivering these modules, and we found it that these modules are quite easy to understand, and it can be used by any non-medical personnel to deliver the the message. So with this, and I'm sure the participants who are here, other than those school and college students, all have at least gone through those modules and the content of modules, that what they exactly are for and what is the purpose of having those modules. So I think we are two of us here, myself and Dr. Shivanand will be doing these sessions today. I will take up the two modules. One is the mental health module for the adult population, that is primarily for membership and UA, and also the substance abuse modules. And Dr. Shivanand will take up the mental health module for Khalir. So let me just share my content. Can we just have that? Yeah, the whiteboard was on.
Samir, do you want us to chat the PPT?
Yeah, but then who is going to control it? I mean, who's going to?
I can do.
Okay, fine. That would be fine.
Shall I share the PPT?
Yeah, please. The mental health one.
Visible?
Yes, visible. I think it's visible for others. Yeah, fine. So the whole idea of presenting this module is to create awareness about mental health and also focus on what we call as stigma, which is very commonly associated with mental health. So we need to fight that stigma so that people with mental illnesses or people going through some mental hardship find it easy for themselves to come and express themselves to seek help. So that's the whole idea about why we want to educate common people on mental health. So the title itself speaks that we are here to openly discuss about mental health issues, importance of mental health in one's life, and not to be hesitant about talking or discussing about mental health in day-to-day life. The next slide, please. So mental health is important. It's already been put into context, both in terms of numbers and the significance of mental health in today's world. I would just like to put it across as in today's world, mental health is known as an invisible, pandemic. So globally, huge number of people are going through different mental health issues, and it's not any different in our country. More so with varied population and cultural differences, we do come across a lot of mental health issues with various populations. So no health without mental health. That is the standard slogan what WHO has also mentioned. So when we are considering health of an individual, mental health forms an integral part and an important part of general well-being. So that's the whole message about why mental health is important. Now, the learning objectives and what we expect at the end of these modules is for people to know and understand what is mental health primarily in simple terms, what defines mental health, what are the causes of mental health problems. There are a lot of misunderstanding and myths when it comes to what causes mental health problems. So that needs to be understood in the right context. Risk factors for development of mental health problems, those which can be modified. That is also an important part where we talk about preventive mental health issues. So you identify those risk factors and try to modify them so that you can prevent further mental health issues. When to seek help in case of mental health problems. This is again very important. Overcoming the stigma, overcoming the barrier of hesitation. When and at what point in time one has to, consider taking professional help. So it can be either from a psychiatrist or any mental health professional for that matter. And we as an individual, what can we do in terms of support to anyone who is suffering from mental health problems? So this is very important because of mental health support is very essential. And as a country of us in India, we are still very lacking when it comes to supporting the mental health problems, people suffering from mental health problems. So the objective at the end of these modules is people to have an understanding on a larger understanding on these broader areas. Now, each module has, I'll come to that later. Now, what is mental health? Now, obviously, this is a scientific definition given by WHO. The emphasis here is not just absence of any mental health problem. So it is a more proactive way of being healthy. So one who can identify his or own abilities, can cope with normal stresses of life, and work productively for the fulfillment of oneself and one's society. So if a person is able to do this, then we call that person as a mentally healthy person. Okay, so the idea here is that there need not be a specific absence of any mental health problem. So one has to identify their potentials and work productively using those potentials. So a mentally healthy person in general has these basic characteristics intact. So he is able to think clearly, think positively, more importantly, and is able to enjoy his responsibilities, his goals, be it at a professional level or at a family level. And the most important part is stress is an integral part of everybody's life. Okay, so there will be ups and downs, there will be some difficulties in one's life. So an individual who is capable of dealing with those normal ups and downs, basic routine stresses of life, that is an important component of being mentally healthy. So these things define someone who is a mentally healthy person. Okay, so it's not a static state, it's a fluid phenomena. So we look at somebody who is able to manage all these things, then he is a mentally healthy person. Yeah, next. Now, as I told you, the highlight is that one has to remember that mental health is not only important for an individual, but it is also important for the family and the community at large. And because it can affect not only the individual, the family of a person suffering from mental illness, but also the community at large, it becomes a responsibility of us as a community to also take care of not only our own mental health, but also of mental health of our community members. So no health without mental health is a basic line. So what happens when, say, for example, somebody suffers from mental health? Okay. So the next slide is going to tell us about what basically goes wrong when somebody suffers from mental health disorder. No, this is just a basic, not necessarily the entire thing that happens. So there will be problems in one's thinking. As we already told that to have a positive mental health, one has to think clearly and positively. So that goes down. So there will be more of negative thoughts. Everything will be looked down upon. So there will be loss of confidence and enthusiasm in that person. He doesn't really like to enjoy his day-to-day activities. His hobbies, interest becomes dull and non-interesting to him, and his actions alter accordingly. So when the thinking, emotions, and the responsibilities, the work of an individual gets affected, then it is the starting point of creating problems as a mental health issues. This is what happens when somebody suffers from mental health problems. And we can identify these problems initially by just having, looking at the person's way of thinking, his emotions, and how does he behave on day-to-day basis. Arun has already put across the story of Dwayne Johnson, which is really inspiring. How resilience is important to overcome hardships in life, and in our country, even today, we do come across many celebrities, many famous personalities are now coming up and expressing and opening up about their mental health issues. So the idea behind this is that mental health or mental problems can affect anybody for that matter. Okay, so irrespective of the socio-economic status, the educational status, whether somebody is rich, poor, or from an urban or rural setting, no matter what, mental health is like any other illnesses, so it can affect anybody, any individual who is a biological, person. So the whole idea is to speak up, talk about it. Okay, so don't be shy, don't be afraid. Anybody can get affected about mental illnesses. Lot of stigma, as I already told, about what causes mental health problems. Even today in our country, the first thing that comes to mind of people in the family of people who are suffering from mental illnesses is it could be something related to unnatural or supernatural powers or some black magic kind of a thing. All these non-scientific, unmedical explanations are available for mental illnesses. But mental illnesses are like any other physical disorders you take up, for example. So there will be a genetic, biological factors, contribution from adverse childhood experiences contribute to problems in adulthood. Support system, if the support system is not adequate for an individual, that can be a risk factor. And also one's own psychological makeup. Arun was talking about resilience. Resilience is nothing but a psychological ability to, come back from hardships, its ability to bounce back from difficult situations. So all these things matter, and the combination of these is what determines the causation of certain mental illnesses. So it's a biological primarily. It is something that happens to your body, in your mind, and that is why somebody suffers from mental illnesses, and not because of someone's character or somebody is weak and or somebody is uh, mentally not strong enough to deal with situations. No, it's not the case. So there are different biological factors that contribute for the causation of mental illnesses. Next, please. Yeah, what happens and how to identify if someone in your family or in a circle is suffering from mental illnesses. So not necessarily every mental illness is presented with those behaviors which are kind of commonly shown in media, like violence or agitation or those kind of risky behaviors. Common problems of mental illness is present to us like any day-to-day problems of body aches and pains. The person feels fatigued, is not able to enjoy his life. Even day-to-day work feels like a huge burden to that person to carry out. He's not able to enjoy the company of his family and friends. Okay, then there can be disturbances in interpersonal relationships, both at family, at workplace, frequent fights. All those things affect a person who is suffering from mental illnesses. For students, it is very important to identify that if they are going through some stressful situations or problems of mental illnesses, their academic performance drops, attention, concentration, memory difficulties sets in. So this is how commonly mental illnesses present to us, and not necessarily with any telltale signs of aggression or agitation. So it's very important to identify that these can also be a presentation of mental health problems and not necessarily physical problems or other social issues. So when to seek help? Now, this is very important. When to seek professional help. So most of the time, people who are suffering from severe mental illnesses don't go and take professional help at the first step. Now, there are various reasons. Stigma is the most important one. Availability of professional help is also very important in a country like us. So all these things matter. So when to seek help is first to identify those problems that you have. You're either too anxious or too fearful, or you are irritable most of the time, and something is not right internally with the person. First, try to talk to your friends and families, though they are the immediate source of help, support. So most of the time, most psychological problems of minor nature get resolved by discussing or talking with your family and friends. If still it is not helping you out after talking and discussing with family and friends, then probably you need to see a physician or a family doctor at first place. So any medical graduate can identify those subtle signs and symptoms of mental health problems, and then from there you can take a professional help. But it is very important to recognize and acknowledge that what is happening to you might be because of some mental health problems. So that's the problem with our society. Even though the person is suffering from psychological issues, the acceptance that, okay, this could be because of anxiety or depression is lacking. Okay, and that is very important, that you need to acknowledge that, okay, fine, maybe this is a psychological issues and I need to seek professional help. Oh. Next slide. Yeah. Now, when it comes to treatment, I'll not go into the details. So there are different modalities, and again, in a country like us, yes, there is a dearth of professional help. Not everywhere every person can avail these facilities in terms of professional help. But yes, what the country has done to address this treatment gap or lacunae when it comes to seeking help is we have come up with what is known as Telemanas helpline. I think that's what the next slide is going to tell us about. Now, this Telemanas is a national helpline for mental health issues. It is an initiative by Government of India. It has a toll-free number available in different languages for communication. And recently, very recently, I came across news that this Telemanas is also available as an application for mobile, both as Android platform and also for an iOS platform. So this is very important, and the important message here is to make sure that everybody in the participation, in the attendance, note down this toll-free number 14416, and this is a standard toll-free number 24/7. The help and assistance is available by professionals. Now, in our state, in Karnataka, we have two centers where Telemanas offices are running, one in Nimans, Bangalore, and one at our place in a mental medical college and a mental hospital. So this is where people can go and seek help. Now, why we introduce this is most of the time the audience would come up with some or the other questions, and as this is not always being presented by a medical professional, we don't expect every presenter who is taking up these modules to be able to understand and answer to the queries of the audiences when it comes to mental health issues. So this is something where they can immediately online during the sessions also they can get in contact with the Telemanas helpline and seek clarifications for their queries. Now, that is one important reason. To summarize, the highlight here is remember that mental health conditions are like any other health conditions and they are completely treatable. Okay, so treatment is available. Mental health illnesses are patients or somebody who's suffering from anxiety and depression is not someone is something different from he or she suffering from other physical illnesses. So they are the same person. They are the same person. There's nothing wrong with their character or their personalities or their nature. And 21st century, we have a lot of good treatment options available for us. So only thing is we need to be aware of when and how and where to seek help. Okay, so that is the whole idea, to identify the probable risk factors for mental health problems, and timely intervention does a lot of benefits in such cases. What do we talk when we talk about positive mental health? So the idea here is to equip oneself with good lifestyle so that you are not at risk for developing mental health issues. So once you are mentally healthy, what happens is the quality of life, the overall quality of life improves. Now, I will not go into the detail what does that mean, but then there is improvement in everything: self-confidence, self-esteem, your relationship with your peers and your family, everything improves. Self-awareness improves. The way you deal with your day-to-day problems also gets better. So that is what happens if you are mentally healthy. Next. What can we do as a society? Obviously, it's very important to support people suffering from mental health illness. The don'ts are very important here: not to label, not to stigmatize, not to use tags or derogatory words towards, even as a normal conversation or as a joke. Never use those words like demented or anxious or you're obsessive and so on and so forth. Okay, so don't criticize and blame, don't label, don't stigmatize people who have gone through mental hardships. Okay, and it's very important to understand that it's a cry for help. People suffering from mental health illnesses, their actions and their behaviors are nothing but their way of seeking help. So try to understand that, empathize with them. Okay, and encourage them to go and talk and seek professional help. This is what bare minimum we can do as a society. Yeah, if we see people in and around us going through mental health issues. Next. Tips for good mental health. Now, this is very basic, what one needs to do on day-to-day basis. Again, healthy lifestyle, proper nutrition, diet, 6 to 8 hours of adequate sleep. That is very important these days because of what we are seeing, the problem of screen times. Okay, so it's with everyone. So screen time problems, especially at bedtime, is a problem, as an issue with everyone. So one has to have enough sleep, regular physical activity. Now, moderate intensity of activities of your choice is definitely beneficial to your mental health, not necessarily just to physical health. Socializing, okay, be a part of social organization, and this is what YI is all about. So that also helps to take care of our mental health. Hobbies and interests, spend time on that. Have a me time from your busy schedule. Make sure that you always have that an hour or two for yourself so that you can refresh. Limit screen time. compassion, helping others. Okay. And definitely the most important part is seeking help and advice whenever necessary. So these are basic things that are absolutely essential for anyone to, be mentally healthy. Now, stigma is again very important. Why it is important in a country like ours is because of the negative emotions, the negative statements associated with mental health problems. So stigma is something that keeps the person away from seeking help, keeps the person from not taking treatment or help at right time, complicates his problems, and once the problems gets complicated, it is indirectly going to do more harm than any good. So there will be fear of discrimination, fear of being labeled as an mentally ill person. So all those negative thoughts and emotions sets in. So it's very important to fight stigma associated with mental illnesses. It's an integral part that we need to really understand and do away with. Now, different types of stigma, I'll not go into the details of it. What is important here is what one can do to reduce the stigma. So obviously encourage people to talk openly about mental health, and even the whole idea of celebrities coming out and talking and explaining about their issues is nothing but an attempt or ways to fight stigmas. So we can make use of them. They take examples of such uh, resilience and such stories and tell that okay, it's absolutely fine, it's to talk about mental illness, educate yourself and others about what is mental illness, what causes mental illness. So the basic understanding definitely goes a long way to reduce stigma. Equality gives equal importance to your physical health and mental health. Show compassion to people suffering from mental health. Allow them to be a part of your circle, spend time with them. You don't have to discriminate them on the basis of their mental health issues. And also, rehabilitation and empowerment of people with mental illness. So that goes a long way in fighting stigma. So there are different organizations that are working on that, and we are a part of it. So this is something that we are indirectly doing to, take this problem of stigma away from mental health issues. Again, end the stigma now, encourage conversation. Let's talk about mental health. Even WHO came with this slogan about break the stigma, talk about mental health a couple of years back. So this is a global phenomena. Okay, so it's very important if we really have to address the issue of mental health problems and tackle the problems of mental health problems in India, we have to do away with stigma first. So this is the first barrier that we need to address. And these sessions, these modules, and these activities, which are part of YI, are nothing but the right step towards tackling this problem. So I hope that this message is carried across, to different sets of people, different population, and the entire purpose of having these activities serve the right purpose. Okay, I think that's the last slide, I feel. And for those who would like to take up these modules to different audiences, the modules come with an inbuilt surveys, which just I did, it's about understanding what is the common understanding of people about mental health. So it's the same survey questionnaire which has to be uh, addressed prior to the presentation, and that the same survey can be taken post the session. So you can come to know the learning that has happened through these modules. So the modules also have an inbuilt system of assessing and measuring the efficacy and the utility of these modules. I think this is with the mental health problems. Can we go to the next presentation and take questions in the end? How do we go about it?
Yes. Just we can ask all the participants to take the screenshot of it as of now, and
Okay.
the link will be shared in the message
Okay.
box, so that they can take the survey after the DOT.
Okay. So I think those participants can take the screenshot of this QR code, and at the end of the sessions, at the end of the couple of remaining sessions, a link will be shared for you to complete that survey. And I think it's mentioned that those who complete the survey, only those people will be given the certificate of participation. And I think that point is clear. So I'll just quickly run through the second module, which is on substance abuse. Can we have the next one, please?
Yes, hold a second.
The second module is about tobacco abuse and drug abuse in general, and the presentations, the modules are targeted for UVA and Thalir as the stakeholders. The focus here is on say no to drugs, say no to drugs, say no to peer pressure. We wanted to create awareness about drug and substance abuse, and why is it important, how it begins primarily for somebody who is in his adolescence or teenage group, and how to deal with this, and how to deal with the problem of fitting into the society and being a part of that friends group or peer group, just and how this problem behavior starts in general. So the presentation is about tobacco, drugs, and other substance abuse. Try to make it very simple in terms of making people understand that okay, even an occasional smoke here or there, an occasional drink now and then is also a problem. And the whole idea is to give an understanding about why we need to be careful about this issue. Next slide. It's the objectives is to understand what is a drug. Now we commonly use this word as drug abuse, drug dependence. What do you mean by drug? Okay. What are the different types of drugs? Now this is very important. There are two sides to it. The tobacco and drug abuse or the substance abuse problem has two sides. One is obviously the medical side to it, that we as a psychiatrist or medical professions deal with it. And there is a legal side to it also. Okay, so what are these? I mean, like how to differentiate these two problems and what is the interface? So we need to know what actually are different types of drugs, problems of drug abuse, what happens if somebody is consuming the drug in terms of its effects on health and other functions, problem statement in the word in our country, how prevalent or how rampant it is, and you know we need to understand the magnitude of problem, and obviously what treatments options are available, how to identify this and what treatment options are available. So this is the crux of the presentation. Now, what is a drug? Now, this is a very common thing that we talk about. So, in simple terms, a drug is any substance that once we consume alters the body function. So, it can be, say, for example, a painkiller. It can be, for example, an antacid. So, it's a drug. So, it's any substance that alters our mood or body functions, and also something which is habit forming. So to differentiate those other medical products from those what we call as a drug, what is important is that eventually over a period of time, if we make use or we consume that product over and over again, it is something that is going to lead us to continue doing that. So it's what habit forming means. Okay, so in spite of there not being any need or necessity to make use of that medicine or that product, the body starts wanting it more. So that is what the drug does to our body. This is how you differentiate any medical product from those harmful substances which are drugs or substance of abuse. Now, as I told you, there are two angles to it. The medical angle deals with the problem of health issues with drug and substance abuse, and the legal system deals with the uh, the law, the provisions and the prohibitions associated with these drugs. So different types of drugs, as I already told you, there are medical products, prescription drugs like cough syrup, painkillers, and other solvents. Legal drugs are those which are by the law of the country. The production, the sale, the storage of those drugs are allowed by the law of the country. That is like alcohol and tobacco. Although we do have some states where alcohol is completely banned, the sale of alcohol. And those drugs where the law doesn't allow any production, storage, or sale of those particular drugs, they are illegal drugs. So most common of them are cannabis, cocaine, LSD, and all those other high-end drugs. So this demarcation is important because we need to tell the audience, especially the students, that so it's not only a problem of health issue. There is a problem. There is a legal angle to it, and the legal angle is also something that the students should be aware of, both in terms of laws and regulations that govern the use of these drugs in our country. So this is a basic difference that can tell them that, okay, so if you are into the habit of doing something which are illegal in terms of law of land, then the problems can be multifold. That's how the message should be put across. What leads to a young child develop this habit of substance abuse? Now there are different explanations to it. Okay, so what commonly we see as a psychiatrist, or what we commonly come across in our practice, is that there are a lot of developmental issues in the childhood in terms of emotional, physical neglect, sexual abuse, presence of childhood mental health problems in terms of even developmental problems of intellectual development issues. Peer pressure is an important environmental factor, especially for a country like us, where one likes to fit in into the society, gets influenced by his friends or his group or a circle, and as a part of experimentation and as a part of being a part of that group, they start using these products. Digital media, lot of misinformation on social media these days, and every kid, every child has an access to everything that is available, and most of these social media information about substance and drug abuse are ill-regulated. They are not monitored, so that can lead into this problem. Obviously there is a genetic factor. If there is a family history, father, mother, or anybody in the family is having a problem of substance abuse, then that can be a risk factor for the childhood also. Again, mental illnesses and social support system, lack of social support system, all these contribute to one taking up this issue of substance abuse. So when we try to educate these to our audience, to our children, we need to make them aware that, okay, there can be these many factors in combination or independently can influence the person to take up this habit of trying a substance. So one has to be careful, one has to be aware of these risk factors and try to work over these risk factors. Next slide. Okay, so the focus of this module is on peer pressure. We want to emphasize how to identify peer pressure. Now, peer pressure is something that has a positive effect also. So not everything about peer pressure is negative, but when we talk about peer pressure with substance abuse and drug dependence, we are talking about negative consequences of this peer pressure. So make them aware of what is peer pressure and how it can affect one's decision making and thinking. Different types of peer pressure. There is direct, there is indirect. Okay, one can give these common examples for a child or a teenager to understand, okay, whether he is being influenced by this or not. Okay, so this is why we came up with explanation of different types of peer pressures. Threatening to use a drug or influencing a person and telling how fun it will be. It's kind of a direct peer pressure that happens most of the time. Okay, so and there can be a social learning involved in this. The child sees someone in his family or someone from a social status doing it, and he wants to copy it. So that's a part of, again, a peer pressure that the child undergoes. So just give an examples, try to make them understand that, okay, this is how one can influence a person into taking it into this habit of taking substances. Next. What are the problems of using drugs? Now there's multifold. I mean, there are many problems. We try to restrict it with respect to the teenagers and adolescents. Obviously, there will be mental health problems, psychological problems of tobacco and alcohol and others drug abusers. We'll not go into detail. There are definite psychiatric conditions that can develop after the use. Not to mention the physical health problems, oral lesions, chest, liver gets affected, appetite goes lost, there will be weight reduction happening, and all those physical health problems which are very well advertised and also marketed and known for people. And on social front, obviously there can be neglect and there can be social isolation. The child can, be taken out from the academic system, from the schooling system. All those things can affect, and at large the community is affected because of these issues. So we try to restrict and tell them and highlight the importance of trying to understand this problem both from a medical point of view and from a social point of view, that how it can negatively impact one's. Again, anxiety and depression as a part of mental health issues. I think as we go further into the presentations, then we can tell them about all these things. The presenter can dwell into details of these or can just mention them, just for the audience to be aware of these issues. Next is about social problems. As I told you, social isolation, family conflicts, these are very commonly seen. Poor academic performance, school dropouts, we see a lot of them because of the issues. Either the child drops out or the school management takes a disciplinary action. And I think Arun was talking about how even in young children, young school going children, the problem of drug abuse is prevalent these days, and that's something very common even at our place. Okay, so people using vape in schools. Now that was not something which was very common 5-10 years back, but this is very common, very rampant. So one has to be aware of that. Community, again, unemployment, poverty, violence. Okay, all these because of substance abuse. Came across so many news readings that multiple acts, violent acts under the influence of alcohol, and most of them, 90% of them, such acts are because of the use of substances, and they are by teenagers. Obviously, we have to tell them that this is an impact. Eventually, this is what is going to happen. Next, please. The extent of problem, again, these are just numbers for the reference. This is from the National Drug Dependency Treatment Center in New Delhi, which came up with the statistics, just for the reference that how rampant these problems are. One can make use of these references or maybe quantify the problem of substance abuse in India. Why we are talking about this now, why we are emphasizing about this now. Okay, this is just a standard reference numbers for us to know the magnitude of problem. Next. Again, inhalant use, very common among school-going children, teenagers, not easily identified or picked up, but then has lot of health issues. Solvent abuse, inhalant abuse. Okay, so those things have to be picked up or asked about directly when we are dealing with any child and adolescent substance abuse problems. Next. Now, what defines a problem behavior? Now, this is very important because I was very specific about this because we do get a lot of questions about that I have someone in my family who consumes X amount of quantity of alcohol for N number of years. There's no problem with that person. Or there could be somebody who says that I only consume alcohol occasionally on festivals or some events or other issues. Is that a problem? The similar kind of questions that come across, and I am sure that this is a common doubt for everyone. What defines problem behavior when we talk about substance and drug abuse is presence of these things: craving, that is a strong desire or a compulsion to take the drug. Okay, if somebody has that within himself or herself, then that is a problem behavior. A person who has no control over his substance taking behavior in terms of when he wants to consume that substance or how much he wants to consume that substance, okay, that is a problem behavior. Someone who is who neglects the alternate pleasures of life and is always occupied with the idea and thought of consuming that substance, it could be alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs, even that is a problem behavior. We call it as salience. Tolerance is obviously person starts with 1 or 2 cigarettes, ends up with 10. Okay, a person starts with one occasional drink on one day of a week, and then eventually it becomes a daily pattern that he consumes daily. That is tolerance that happens. Then there could be some discomforting symptoms, physical and psychological, when the person is not taking that substance. So we call them as withdrawal symptoms. So common withdrawal symptoms like feeling uneasy, sick, or there can be tremors or shakiness of hands, which are very easily observable to any one of us. So those define that presence of withdrawal symptoms, tell us that there is a problem behavior in terms of consumption of a particular substance. And person continues to use that substance even after having some health hazards or health complications. Somebody had jaundice and then yet continues to drink alcohol. Somebody had a problem with the respiratory system. He had cough or any infection of lungs, yet continues to smoke a cigarette or cannabis. So this harmful use also tell us that, okay, these person are someone who are at risk of severe dependence, or they need help in terms of substance abuse and tobacco. Now, this is very important because people usually equate the problems of substance abuse and drug abuse to one, either the duration of use or only to the quantity of consumption, or they feel that as long as they are healthy, they don't have any medical issues or health issues because of the consumption, they are all fine. But that's not the criteria. Now, these points define or tell us that, okay, this is a problem behavior. Next slide. Again, treatment, yes, there is treatment available. One has to recognize that this is a problem. There are medications which help us to reduce that, drive or a craving or that need to consume the substance, that kind of a psychological feeling. There are medications to control the withdrawal symptoms. And obviously, we have a lot of rehab facilities. Many private or NGO groups are working on rehab for substance abuse. And I'm sure many, tier 1, tier 2 cities in a country have these setups, not just necessarily medical colleges or psychiatric related rehab centers. So yes, one has to encourage the person who's suffering from problem of substance abuse or tobacco abuse to seek help from these interventions. Next. And again, telemanus is there. This is universal. Obviously, it can be go to helpline anytime, anywhere. So one has to emphasize the use of this national portal for addressing the problem of substance abuse and drug dependence also. Next. To summarize, drug abuse is a preventable behavior and drug addiction is a treatable disorder. Now, this is very important because we see a lot of families and well-wishers of someone who is suffering from tobacco or drug abuse come and tell us that they have lost hope and they feel that the person cannot be helped with. Okay, so these kind of statements, but the end point, the biological point is here, everybody and anybody who has a problem of substance abuse can be helped with, and it is a treatable conditions. Okay, so that's the bottom line. So help is available, kindly seek help. So at the end of the presentation, again, we have a short survey on trying to understand or have a knowledge about what is the understanding about peer pressure, how peer pressure works, and how peer pressure influences negatively in substance taking behavior. So I think this completes the 2 modules, about one on general mental health and this on substance abuse and tobacco abuse and drug dependence. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Samir. And the participants who are now seeing the PPT, please scan this QR code and first take the screenshot and scan the QR code. I think we have shared 2 QR codes as of now so that you can attend after this TOT. You have to fill the questionnaire, and those who have completed both these survey questionnaires will only eligible for the certification. Thank you so much, Samir. I think we can we can go to the next session, which is for the mental health for children, Strong Mind, Strong World, which will be taken over by Shivanand. So I think, is there any question and answer before Dr. Samir leaves? Is there any Q&A? Or what about Samir? Shall we have the Q&A at the end of the TOT? Or
Yeah, fine. No problem.
that would
We'll
be
have
fine,
Dr.
right?
Shivanand's session and then
Okay,
we'll have
Shivanand
Q&A.
session. All right, all right.
पापा मैंने बड़ा कर दिया
बेटा क्या से बड़ा कर दिया?
इसको दबाने से बड़ा
Okay. Yeah, over to you, Shivanand. You can start the presentation.
Yeah, Sharmila, could you please help me out with the presentation?
Yes. Give me a moment.
So, good morning, all of you. Dr. Samir has already discussed in detail about mental health and its definition and various aspects of it. So that makes my job easier, and I can finish my presentation in a very short span of time. So it will be slightly different from taking session to adults, because we are dealing with younger children. So we should make it more interesting and more interactive to them. So yeah, can we have the next slide, please? Yes, next. Yeah, back. Previous slide. So as Dr. Samir had mentioned in his presentation, these will be the learning objectives. What is mental health? What causes mental health problems? What are the risk factors? And when to seek help? And can we help people suffering from mental health problems? And can we improve our mental health? With these objectives, we shall start the session. Next. So when we are conducting this session with the children, Khalid, before we begin the session proper, we should float few questions. Probably they will not have access to mobile phone during the session, so we cannot have that feedback form like how we had the QR code for the adults. So we will float few questions to them, like, do mental health problems affect people's thoughts and actions? Do mental health problems affect only adults? Are mental health problems caused by evil spirits? Next. Do highly stressful situations cause mental health problems? Is it true that mental health disorders cannot be treated? And last one is, if you had a mental health problem, should you seek your family's help? So do not seek answers from them at this point. You just float the questions. You tell them that you keep these questions with you, and we shall have the discussion once the session is over. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, as Dr. Samir had mentioned, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. And healthy body and healthy mind makes the human being a happy person. Next. Yeah, as it's already discussed, a mentally healthy person can think clearly and positively and enjoys good relationships with others, cope with normal stresses of life, and work productively and contribute to the community. That means go to school regularly, they enjoy their studies, they perform well in the school, both curricular and extracurricular. Next. So here you can give the examples of many celebrities who are coming out with their struggle with mental health issues. It can be Deepika Padukone, Virat Kohli, and as Arun mentioned, Dwayne Johnson, and there are many other celebrities who are being very vocal nowadays. You can take their example. And next. Yeah. So what are mental health disorders? A mental disorder is a condition that negatively affects a person's thought, feelings, and actions. We generally call it as cognitive triangle. And thoughts, actions, and feelings are mutually dependent. If thought get disturbed, our feelings and actions get disturbed. If our feelings get disturbed, our actions and thoughts get disturbed. And actions get when we have unexpected actions, then again our thoughts and feelings get disturbed. So if there is disturbance between any of these two, then there will be mental disorder that affects our relationships, that affects our day-to-day life, that affects our productivity. Next. Next. Yeah. So to make previous slide. Yeah. To make the session interesting, next slide. Scenario 1. To make the session interesting, we have got some 3 scenarios. So what we can do is, we can make one of the student in the class to stand up and read the scenario for the rest of the children. So the scenario goes like this. Vijay, a 9th standard, studious, hard-working boy, suddenly became dull, reduced talking to friends, and had difficulty concentrating in class. He always appeared lost in his own world and used to get angry and irritated when his friends tried to talk to him. Off late, he started missing classes and did not attend the unit test too. So once the scenario is read out, you make sure that each of the participant has understood the scenario. And then you tell them, based on the scenario, we are going to ask you a few questions. You will have to answer those questions. So the first question being, what may be the reason for change in Vijay's behavior? So then there may be some giggles, some laughs, so then there can be some answers, like he was under stress, he was sad, he was disappointed. You take all the answers. You just don't tell that this is right or this is wrong. So you just tell them that once we are done with the questions, we will have answers for them through the discussion. Can we have the next question, please? So what are the causes of mental health problems? Next. So basically, as we had seen in the previous slide, the cognitive triangle, the thought, the emotion or feeling, or the action. If there is disturbance in that triangle, we will have mental disorders. So what Vijay was facing, okay, he had some disturbance. That's why he was very silent. He was not interacting with his friends. He was becoming very irritated when somebody tried to talk to him, and even he missed his unit test. So there was disturbance in his thought process, his emotions, and also in his actions. So he was suffering from some kind of mental health problem. So next question was, what causes mental health disorders? As we had already, next. As we have already discussed about it, biological factors, it can be genetic, family factors, or birth injury during delivery, and childhood events like violence and abuse during childhood, broken family, emotional neglect, death of a parent. And when it comes to social factors, there can be stressful situations like financial problems, there can be drug abuse, there can be unemployment among the parents, and psychological factors like poor self-esteem, poor coping skills, and image problems. So these are the general factors which cause mental disorders. Next, please. So what are the risk factors for mental health problems? Generally, we all are at the risk of mental health issues. So in this age group, in this adolescent age group, the most important thing is digital pressure, especially the social media, amount of time people spend on it, amount of validation they try to get on social media, and then the number of likes, the number of shares they want to have, and the image they want to have in the social media, the acceptance in the group. So all these things are risk factors for mental health problems. And then comes to academic pressure. Our education system is number-oriented education system, so that brings a lot of pressure with it. I think we have been reading about what is happening in Kota. That's really unfortunate. And elsewhere also, soon after the results of 10th standard examination or 12th standard examination, we hear a lot of unfortunate incidences and heavy workload. And next comes peer pressure. Most important thing in peer pressure is bullying, insisting them, threatening them to consume substances of use. And one more thing is they try to fit into the group, even though they do not like to do certain things. Still, they end up in doing certain things to fit in that particular group. And wrong influence, negative influence. And then comes unrealistic parental pressure, comparison with others, Sharma ji ka beta, and then developmental dilemma. Adolescence is kind of a sail on a rough sea where there are a lot of rapid body changes because of hormonal changes, because of rapid growth, because of their appearance. They will have that confusion, identity versus role. And then they will have that confusion between independence and dependence, whether they are dependent on parents and elders for taking decisions or they are totally independent. In that situation, neither they are mature enough to take their independent decisions, nor they want to take advice, suggestions from parents. So they end up taking suggestions from their peers, where peers are also sailing in the same boat. So all these problems, all these confusions add to the risk factors of mental health problems. Next slide, please. So what are the signs of mental health problems in adolescence? These are not disease specific. These are in general signs and symptoms. If somebody sees those symptoms, should be alarmed and should try to seek help. One is low mood. Another one is change in appetite or sleep patterns. That is either increase in appetite or reduced appetite, or increase in sleep or disturbed sleep or reduction in sleep. And there is in general loss of interest in things around them. They would lose interest in things which they used to do with lot of passion earlier. But if they do the same thing now, they will not draw that pleasure. And lot of tiredness, reduced energy levels, and all these things might make them to consume tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs of abuse. And then the most important thing, thoughts of self-harm or suicide. So these are the signs of mental health problems among adolescents. Next. So when should they seek help? They should seek help when they have mood swings, that is extreme sadness, extreme happiness, or extreme dullness or boredom for a significant period of time. And the next point is extreme feelings, overwhelming fear, worry, anxiety. If they have it, then they should seek help. If there is drastic changes in their behavior in terms of extreme anger, outbursts, irritability, aggressive behavior, and if there are physical symptoms like repeated headaches, stomachache, sickness which is making them miss school and miss exams, and if there are thoughts of physical harm, self-injury, or reckless behavior like reckless driving and substance use, if any of these things are there, then they should definitely seek help. Next slide, please. So mental health problems are not a sign of weakness. In fact, they are a sign of strength with which the person is trying to fight against the adversity. So definitely one should not be ashamed to share their mental health issues with their loved ones or cared ones. So can we have the second scenario, please, in continuation with the first scenario? So Vijay continued to stay aloof and remain absent from school. This made his parents extremely worried as to what to do. Meanwhile, Vijay's neighbors and relatives advised his parents to visit an astrologer or a faith healer in the nearby town, suspecting the effect of evil spirits. Somebody stand this scenario, make sure that everybody understands this scenario. So, shall we move on to the question based on the scenario 2? So, this will be an interesting question. So, what do you think about the advice given by Vijay's neighbors and relatives? There will be varied responses. Like the intention of the neighbors is good, but probably they could have advised them to take him to the doctor and all. So take every response, whatever the students give, and move on to the next question. Yeah, can we have the next? Yeah. So how will you help Vijay in this situation? So you just ask them. So how can you help them? Can you help them or not? So again, there will be varied responses. Take all of them. Move on to the next slide. So helping people with mental health problems. So now we are sure that Vijay has some mental health problems because of various reasons. We have seen the reasons. So now what is the role of his friends or classmates in helping him? Can they help him? Or if they can help him, then how can they help him? So I was just having a look at a random video clip where a person was standing on a bridge, holding onto the railing and looking down, staring down for a long time. And then there was a person passing by. He just happened to observe that guy. Then probably he felt something. He went near to that person who was holding the railing. And then he just asked him, "Hello, buddy, how are you? Is everything fine with you?" The person who was holding the railing suddenly hugged this person and started crying. And then he told, "No, I am going through a lot of difficult situation. I was contemplating from this bridge. So you just came to me, you just asked me. Now I feel slightly better." So we never know. We would have seen many people, doing such things. We might feel that they might do some harm to themselves, but still we keep it to ourselves, thinking that it is not our business, or they might feel that why simply we are poking nose in their business. But whenever you have that gut feeling, or whenever you feel that you should go and just ask them, "How are you? Is everything all right?" Please do that. Even if they scold you, at the max, what they can do, mind your business. But even if one person gets help, even if one person's that difficult situation gets averted, that will be a great thing. So we should always try to help people when we see that that person is in crisis. So we should go to them, we should talk to them, just ask them what's going on with you. We should let them share, we should listen carefully to their woes, and we should reassure them, saying that let us try to find a solution for it. And we should offer our time to them, we should listen to them without any distraction. We should talk to them about their well-being and show them that you care. And we should not be judgmental or critical whenever we listen to them. Sometimes we end up using many terms like Dr. Samir mentioned, "मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता है, कुछ नहीं होगा, सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा, stress मत ले, tension मत ले." So all these words, all these statements will not help. We should be non-judgmental. We should not be critical of the situation. We should tell them that, fine, you are going through this, we will sort it out. We will try to find a way out of it. And as we are dealing with adolescents and children, we should tell them, we should highlight them that you should always involve a trusted adult like a teacher, a parent, or a school counselor, or an elder brother or sister in case if you find such crisis. And then you can also offer them help seeking professional support from a psychiatrist or psychologist. Next. So as Dr. mentioned, Telemanas is Sanjeevani for such people in such crisis. It can be used 24/7 from any corner of the country. So please focus on this. Please tell them how to use this. This slide itself is self-explanatory. Next. Yeah, points to remember is mental health problems may affect anybody irrespective of age, gender, socioeconomic status, education status. And most common mental health problems faced by adolescents are anxiety and depression. Mental health determines how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. The sooner mental health problems are identified and treated, the better. Next. So the last scenario in this series. So Vijay consulted a psychiatrist with help of his parents, teachers, and friends. He took adequate treatment and therapy, after which he became better and started attending school. His friends were happy to see him back in his usual self. They started discussing how one can improve his or her mental health and well-being. Next question. So yes, how can we promote mental health or well-being? Again, you float this question to the students, get the responses, keep them with you. Next question. No, this is the last question. So yeah, as it has already been discussed by Dr. Samir, these are some of the tips for good mental health. One more thing I would like to add here is for adolescents especially, offline games. Please try to spend time outside as much as possible. And one more thing is recognize others' emotions so that you can understand them and deal accordingly. Yes, next slide. Take home message. So mental health problems are common. Mental illness is not a weakness. Recognize and talk openly about mental health problems. And healthy lifestyle promotes mental well-being. Last question, sorry, the last slide is nothing but the first slide. The questions which we had asked before starting the session, I think they would have got answers to all these questions by the end of our session. Do mental health problems affect people's thoughts and actions? Yes, cognitive triangle. Are mental health problems caused by evil spirits? No. Do highly stressful situations cause mental health problems? Yes, probably. Do mental health problems affect only adults? No, irrespective of race, gender, age, socioeconomic status, it affects everybody. Is it true that mental health disorders cannot be treated? Yes, it can be treated. Vijay got treated and he's back to school. And if you had a mental health problem, should you seek your family's help? Definitely, you should seek family's help. Thank you. Yes, Shamila, we're done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for the session. And I think all the participants, yeah, thank you, all the participants. I think we are almost in the end of the session. So some of the QR code we have already shared is a little maybe stuck up with. And we will be sharing it again through your emails. So don't worry about that. And also in YI groups, YI health groups, it will be shared by the regional mentors. I think any question and answers we can take up for some 5 minutes. Any question and answers when the doctors are available.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Sachin here. I am also along with Dr. Shivanand working. I'm also a psychiatrist. I saw one message saying that is there a correlation between screen addiction and mental health? I think it's definitely there is a more the hours of screen addiction, it is going to have a lot of mental health impact in terms of anxiety, depression, their overall creativity, everything comes down. So I think that is something which needs to be taken in a separate session, I guess. And Dr. Shivanand can also add to this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sachin. In fact, I've put up some more questions on the chat screen. If we can have some data around physical fitness and mental health, the correlation, screen addiction and mental health, the correlation, because I think those are things that, for Thaler students, young students, that might be relevant. Also, one question I had was that for what age group in Thaler schools is this a relevant presentation? Because we have very young children, we have middle schoolers, and we have senior students?
I will first ask our presenter, Dr. Shivanand, to answer. Then I can add up if he wants me to add any other points. Over to Shivanand.
Yeah, I think 5th standard to 10th standard, it would be more ideal.
Okay. Okay. And any correlation between physical fitness and mental health? Any data we can share? Because a lot of children these days, because of screen addiction or other reasons, may not be involved in sports and other such activities. But if we can tell them, or any data or
Yes, yes. Okay, Shivanand, can I go here?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, there is definite correlation between physical activity and mental health. You can just tell them that various research have shown that 3 to 4 days a week of 30 to 40 minutes of moderate intensity of any physical activity has a direct correlation with the mood of an individual. So the feel good hormones, like what we talk about serotonin and dopamine, are directly related to moderate intensity of physical activity for 30 to 40 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week. Now, this is proved beyond doubt. And the type of physical activity is individual choice. When we say it is moderate intensity of physical activity, we mean to say that the physical activity should lead to an increase in heart rate from their baseline to 1 to 1.5 times their baseline. So medically speaking, that is what we call as a moderate intensity of activity. But yes, there is a definite correlation, and it is independent of benefits about physical activity on physical health. So this is independent of that.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. I had a similar question on the symptoms of mental health. For those college students, there was, we talked about sleep disorders and eating problems and all. For children in Thaler schools, what kind of physical symptoms will show up?
Sorry?
Physical symptoms of the fact that someone is going through a mental health issue.
Generally, it will be stomachache, a lot of headache. Despite repeated consultations with pediatrician, they wouldn't be finding the reason for it. And there can be stool refusal. These are the common physical symptoms, and sometimes there can be pains and aches. They say there is leg pain. I'm not able to play. I'm not able to walk or run. So such symptoms are common physical symptoms. So probably there will be underlying stress, underlying situation at home. Have to look at that.
Adding to that, they will have definitely some amount of disturbance in their appetite. Some children and adolescents will have definitely loss of weight and some sleep disturbance. These also can be seen. They often complain of I'm feeling very tired. Nowadays, it was not so in the past. Some vague symptoms, non-specific symptoms, they come up. As Dr. Shivanand was telling, they may consult a pediatrician or a general practitioner. They will not be able to find exactly what is the cause. These are the very common physical symptoms. Usually they get manifested, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Great, thank you.
I was seeing a question. I think it is how do one recognize drug addict? See, how
That has
to
been
identify.
covered in Dr. Sameer's presentation. What is craving, what are withdrawal symptoms, and all other things have been covered in detail.
Yes, yes.
Go through that. And one more thing, doctor, does PNES come under mental illness? I believe PNES is psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. Maybe they can expand it so that we can.
Yes, yes. Psychogenic non-epileptic seizures.
No question. People still do not talk about any mental health issues. If there is and a person suffers a lot, any awareness programs for the community. I think this itself is the program, what the module which we discussed, that can be conducted in the community for the larger population also, so that there is awareness regarding these symptoms and they come up seeking help. Dr. Sameer?
Yeah, I think, see, there are different platforms where this activity is being taken up by. There are government programs, there are programs by various NGOs, but then there is no uniformity. And again, it's not available and accessible by everyone. So we can look into collaborating with such agencies, either government agencies or some NGOs who are working on mental health issues, and we can really expand the scope of such activities.
Okay.
So, sorry, I have another question. We have shared the number for mental health support in the first and the last presentation for college as well as school students. Any support number or any group or NGO that we can connect the students to in case of drug abuse rehabilitation?
Definitely.
So I think already we have shared the Telemanus number. It is a government support number. And if you want to seek the support locally, maybe you can connect with the health chair of your chapter so that he or she would connect with the local NGOs for the any support system or any support line. Otherwise, Telemanus, we recommend nationally. The Telemanus is one of the helpline which is supported by the government.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
They do get connect with the local geographical. Suppose somebody calls from Tamil Nadu, say somebody calls from Madhya Pradesh. So wherever they call, they will give the details of the nearest psychiatrist or any other mental health professional, and they will get in connected with them, be it a psychiatrist, psychologist, or psychiatrist, social worker, or NGO for that matter. Even though it is completely, I think, under the operated by NIMANS, they do get them connected with the local mental health professionals.
Shivanand?
Okay. And this is free of cost? Just clarifying. This is free of cost?
Yeah, it's a
No,
toll-free number.
Let Dr. Shivanand answer the question. Yeah.
No, it's a central government initiative, Health and Family Welfare Ministry initiative. The nodal center is NIMHANS, and they have call centers in most of the official regional languages. So when somebody connects from Madhya Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh, if you ask for nearest rehabilitation center or mental health establishment or a hospital, they'll provide you with all the details of it. They would have. Sorry?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just an important information to all the participants. I have shared the Google Form links of both the surveys in the chat box. If you can access it, then kindly go through the survey and answer those surveys. They are in chat box.
Sir, I had a question.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
want about the second survey. Is it? Are we supposed to answer both of them?
Yeah, both of them.
Self-assessment survey as well.
Yeah, both the surveys. One is on mental health, the other is on substance abuse.
All right. Thank you.
So the second survey, sir, which is for students, that should be school students, that should be done prior to the session. It looks like a survey before the session is conducted.
Both the surveys are pre and post in the module. And they are the same survey. So one is we get an assessment about the knowledge before the modules are presented to them, and then we can assess the change in their perception about those areas when we take a survey again post the presentation. So the idea was to have an understanding about their perception before we make this presentation and how the presentation has made an impact and how the perception has changed.
Got it. Thank you.
Sir, I do have one doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have a school and it's mostly only village students and most of them are going to be postgraduates. So the problem we have here is that most of the parents are working. Both the parents are working, and as soon as the kids go home, they have contacts with people who are older to them. in the society, and they are not under their parents' control, or there is really nothing that the parents can do either. So we've had a lot of students telling us that that particular student is using something, or for example, they're using some honey or something, but we're not able to find out for sure, because only when we know for sure we can take it to the parents. And there was this one case where we took it to the parents, but the parents were not willing to accept it, or they did not want to believe in the fact that their child was under this kind. I mean, he was associated with these kind of people. So one problem comes where I'm not able to bring the parents in order to create a positive change. And the second problem is regarding confidentiality. So everything that happens, we try to maintain a confidentiality so that the child can come out of it. But maybe within the teachers or the parents, they just create a big, it becomes the talk of the race, and it just creates a continuous cycle where that student feels that everybody thinks of them negatively. So how do we deal with this as people in, in the executive or the management? How do we deal with these two issues?
Shivanand, you want to take it?
So you answer that, just processing.
Okay. The two issues I think I can understand is, one is the issue of confidentiality, and the second is obviously the impact of stigma. That's why the parents don't necessarily accept that something is wrong with the child. So generally, what we do in such cases is we take the child into confidence first. So we would like to talk to the child, educate the child about what is right and what is not right about his behavior, and try to take him into confidence and try to work with him initially. Okay, so this is very important when we are specifically dealing with adolescents, say maybe around 14, 15 and above. So getting the child into the loop becomes very important. So once that happens, part of the job is easier. Most of the time, this becomes difficult if there are other issues with the child, say in terms of temperamental issues or personality issues, then this becomes difficult. And then I think we need to collaborate with the child, the parent, or the elder family member with whom the child is comfortable, and we have to collaborate and have a session together to try to understand uh, what the issues are at home, and what are the dynamics between the child and the parents at home, and who can be in the family be of real help to the child, and not to either criticize the child excessively and not to blame him, nor there had to be too protective about it because of stigma or other social issues. So this is something that we need to work, and it might take more than a couple of sessions to actually get going in such cases.
So actually, sir, I had a question related to this only. Because uh, currently what is happening is people are becoming aware about it, but the parents are still in progress to accept it completely, like mental health. It's still a taboo in, a lot of places. So since this program that we discussed is for the students only, so are we also thinking of something which is an awareness for the elders, like parents, because they also need to be brought into that space of confidence. And the helpline numbers, usually, like even if you see Masoom, the government helpline numbers that we have been sharing, as it's not always receptive. It's not answered back immediately. So I have seen that, like 1098 that we share is not something that has been answered immediately. So definitely we can connect with local NGOs and or bring it to the health team in our chapters, like Sharmila said. But are we thinking of any other programs or any awareness that we want to bring in general at large to the society?
Yeah, it's a valid point. But right now, I think this year we are focusing on implementing these modules and actually creating an impact at ground level. So last year we had most of the time preparing these modules, getting them verified, getting them, kind of certified by competent authorities. Even Nimans have gone through these modules and they have certified the content. So this year we want to implement it and really have a look at the impact it is going to create. But yes, in large run, there are various other areas that we need to address in general, in large. Suicide is one such topic that comes under the
Yeah.
purview of social issues. So we are looking at it, we're thinking about it, but then this year we are only focused on getting these modules rolled out. And see, the idea is we want uniformity in conducting these sessions through IA chapters, and we want those survey feedbacks back to us so that we can assess the impact and take it from them. Now, the feedback is important for us also to know whether the content is relevant, the content is actually making a difference, and or do we need to really go back and get something afresh. This is about the modules. I
So
think
when
this
we
is the
do
second.
this, sorry,
Yeah.
you can finish, then I'll ask the
Yeah,
question.
the second issue was regarding helpline. Yeah, I can understand that because these are government agencies, we can't rely on them 100% at all the time. But see, we wanted a uniform system of helpline. We wanted to
Right.
kind of have a common source of helpline. So, but what we discussed when we were creating these modules is a presenter can obviously quote or give an example of any locally available resources. It can be a mental health establishment, it can be an NGO working with mental health issues, it can be a government hospital, it can be anything. I mean, in your locality, in your
So what,
society,
yeah.
yeah, you can obviously take help and can collaborate with them for both the implementation of these activities and also for referral services. So that's open for the chapters to decide.
So the session that we did, so this is what we go and we are conducting for the Thaler students. The survey that you shared, should we get it filled by these students, these two surveys as well, or this is just for us?
No. The Thalir one, the substance abuse survey has to be filled by the students, pre and post, and the mental health one, which is for membership and UA, that has to be filled by the participants. So what happens is we will have at the end of say this calendar year that the number of responses, and we want to assess the responses both pre and post the sessions, and to see whether these are actually creating an impact in terms of changing the perception and understanding when it comes to these two topics. What happened last year, this is a practical experience. We found a lot of difficulties because most of the sessions were conducted where there were lack of internet facilities. The participants had no access to their phone. So we couldn't do it uh, during the sessions. So, but then we asked them to copy or take a photo of their QR code, and those things were shared. But if it happens during the sessions, then there is a continuity to it, and then we can be sure about the responses also.
Ma'am, to add to Dr. Sameer, the question you raised, whether we have anything for the parents. Here at Hubli, we have adopted a school, and every second Saturday, actually we are 4 psychiatrists in our chapter, Dr. Sameer, Dr. Sachin, myself and my wife, Dr. Chaitra. Turn by turn, we visit that school every second Saturday, and we interact with the children who require help as suggested by the school authorities, and also the willing parents. And probably in coming days, we are going to address them during PTM parent teachers meeting. So such things at your chapter at local level can be done. That is working really well. Since 1 year we are doing it, I think such steps can be taken at the local level.
Okay.
I think,
Noted.
yes,
Thank you, sir.
Nupur, you got the point from both the doctors. And I think always having a collaboration with any psychiatrist or any mental health hospital would be really suggested. because whenever even the modules are there for you, that any members can handle it easily. So it was designed accordingly. But at the same time, if any of the participants raise questions, or if they have some help, they seek help regarding some mental health issues or something, a member cannot easily check in, right? So at the same time, we have to redirect with some of the psychiatrists. So it is like a collaboration. You need not to bring them there sometimes, but at least have a collaboration. It will really work in every chapter. Yeah. Okay then. So thank you guys. I think we are almost time. It's almost 12 o'clock. I think this is a time to say a vote of thanks. And Rohit, do you want to add something before? You are on mute. You are on mute, Rohit.
Everything has been covered up, and I am not an expert in this field. So doctors have covered everything, and maybe we can have another session in next 3 or 4 months to brush up. And we are also working on adding some more improvement to the modules, which we will let you know once we are done with that.
Okay. So I think it's time to give the vote of thanks. It's my part. Shall I start, Rohit? Yeah. So very good afternoon, guys. I think it is. I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to National Leadership Team, Chair Tarang and Vice Chairman Arun for this unwavering encouragement for the program, and uh, thank to our National Chair Rohit Puri for taking this forward, for his leadership and commitment for this initiative to promote the mental health awareness and drug abuse prevention across the nation. And also, I thank to the brilliant trainers and who really made this all these modules and had put lot of efforts. Thank you, Dr. Sumesh, Dr. Samir and Shivan for being here and presented the session. And also, I thank all the NMT leaders who supported. That is National Liva Chair Pavitra and National RI Chair Nitin Butra and National Dalit Chair Sankita and National Membership Chair Omkar. So to take this forward across the nation, and also to our dearest RMs who had put lot of efforts to reach out each and every chapter EC members and members. Thank you, regional mentors Karthik, Pratiksha, Sumesh, Rohit Patni and Arpit, and all the health EC leaders here who had helped us to reach all the school students, college students, and Taleriva and RI. Thank you so much. And also, I would like to thank our EM, Mr. Sandeep, for great support towards the program. And guys, as we highlighted about this break the stigma presentation and also the drug abuse awareness, how to handle the peer pressure. So these are all our commitment, YA members. As a YA member, it is our deepest commitment to take essential steps toward building a healthier society and community and in the future. And I think we all to continue all these learnings what we have taken today and scale up across the nation. And so this is our crucial mission for this health vertical, and it is our commitment to. Thank you, everyone, and thank you all the EC leaders, members, faculty, students, and other volunteers for your participation. And please do fill up the questionnaire. And for getting the certificates, it would be much essential. I think in the message box also we shared. We also shared the links in the